Hello there, retro arcaders, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm drawing something that I normally don't, and that is fan art. This was done about a year ago, and it's one of the last pieces of fan art that I ever started and then just didn't finish. I find that fan art in general for me is very difficult to complete, and I'm not saying that I don't enjoy media. I absolutely love watching shows, playing games, and reading books. What I do find difficult is finding the time, I guess, to really go in and do fan art for shows and other things that I enjoy. I'm so busy working on my own projects most of the time that it can be really difficult for me to slot in time to work on fan art unless it's explicitly asked for by patrons or by others. In this particular case, I really love Steven Universe, obviously. It's one of those shows that is just so near and dear to my heart, but I just ran out of time. So even though this sketch, this little drawing of Amethyst was completed all the way through my painting process, it was originally going to be a piece with all three of the crystal gems in it, and I just never got around to it. It is good enough though that I felt like I wanted to share it with you and talk about it. If you're a fan of Steven Universe, if you're a fan of art, we can just share in this incomplete piece together. Sometimes it's okay to not complete stuff. I have to tell that to myself a lot because I know for me as an artist, there's such a pressure to finish things to completion all the time. It can feel very weird, at least for me, to share my sketchbook. I don't really like doing that. So sharing these little incomplete pieces can be kind of stressful. There's a lot of pressure out there to be the best artist that you can possibly be, and oftentimes sketches or incomplete ideas can be perceived as ugly. I am trying to get over that thought. I don't need it, it doesn't serve me, and sometimes seeing the process and also having pieces of art that weren't completed and you just let go is okay. It's cool to share that with people because it can help all of us understand that sometimes it's alright, you can just put it down and you don't have to finish it anymore. It being incomplete does not make it imperfect. Amethyst, with her fiery personality and unique charm, has obviously captured the hearts of fans worldwide. I don't think that she's my favorite crystal gem personally, but there's a lot about her that I deeply admire. She's just so cute, and I think that in general her character design is an incredibly cool one to draw. Rebecca Sugar did a great job with Steven Universe, and Amethyst's adorable little chunky body, as well as her purple color scheme and her hair. Those are my three favorite things about her. I'm a huge fan of the color purple, so that alone just puts Amethyst at the top of my list of favorite characters that I've ever drawn. But her character design in terms of shape allows her to be incredibly dynamic, and that's one of the biggest things that I love about her. But beyond her visual appeal, obviously, there's a lot of complexity in her personality that makes her shine. And she's just really relatable. I don't know about you all. Comment your favorite crystal gem below if you've made it this far in the video. But one of the reasons that I like Amethyst so much and I find her super relatable is because of just the sheer amount of bullying that she goes through in the show. And we all have moments of self-doubt and feeling out of place. I think Amethyst perfectly and beautifully embodies that imperfection, those insecurities, right? And so in a way, Amethyst is perfect as representation for what this art piece signifies to me. I'm afraid of that imperfection. She was afraid of being imperfect, right? She is not a completely formed gem, and this artwork is not a completely finished piece of artwork, and I think that that's kind of ironic, but also really appropriate in terms of how this piece ended up coming together. Amethyst learns and grows from her experience, and honestly, that's all that we can ever ask for. That's all that we can really aspire to do. Amethyst reminds us that it is okay to be ourselves, quirks and all. She teaches us about the importance of self-acceptance and embracing our flaws. And that is the message that resonates with me and the reason that I really love Amethyst as a character. I often struggle a lot when I am consuming media that's not mine with finding people who will resonate with the same messages as me about the content. Does that make sense? It can be really intimidating as an enjoyer of a media going onto the internet and talking about what you love about it, because I feel like fandoms out there are so harsh. Does that make sense? And let me know if you've ever experienced anything that's like that, because it can be kind of scary going into a group of people who also like the same things as you do and say, hey, you know, I really like this character from this show and this is why. Because you never know if somebody else in that group is going to go, oh, well, you missed the point entirely. You don't understand that character at all. You don't understand the plot. You don't understand the experiences. And that can be really invalidating and so scary. And I know that that's why I don't go and talk to other people about liking fan media. Maybe I'm crazy. I don't know. And it's funny because especially with Steven Universe, the whole show is about acceptance, right? It's about loving yourself and about loving other people. So to feel that intimidated about the fandom is kind of sad. I wish that it was not that way for me, but I'm still glad that I got to do this piece of artwork regardless. Honestly, all of this leads into another point as well that's an interesting thing as artists that we can talk about if you too are a fellow artist. And that is creating for yourself and not for other people, right? Because Amethyst is a character. She struggles a lot with her own self-identity and expressing herself, being herself, and not fitting into that role that she was designed for. All of the Crystal Gems struggle with this throughout the show. And I think as an artist, I can deeply relate to that. I know that there's a lot of pressure in the world nowadays to produce art with purpose, right? And that I think is part of the reason why I stopped drawing this fan art piece. Because a majority of the way that I make money is by selling art at conventions, right? And so there's a lot of pressure to create art just to make it into merchandise later, or just to make it into something that's sellable later. So to some extent, when I do fan art, it's like, okay, well, is this popular? Is this character popular? Am I gonna actually make money on this or not? Or is this a waste of my time? And that's a really sad way of going about making art sometimes, which is why I've predominantly switched over to drawing only my original characters. That feels a little bit more like making art for me, and if other people want to share in it and enjoy it, then cool, come on board. I'm so happy to have you, but I'm not explicitly only making artwork for other people, if that makes sense. In a world where social media and external validation play a significant role, I know it's really easy for me to fall into the trap of just consistently creating art solely for other people's approval. And I don't know if I've figured out any other way to do it, really. And I know other people say that, you know, there's immense value in creating art that speaks to your soul, that it expresses your true self, right? And if fan art doesn't do that for you, then maybe stop making it. But at the same time, it can be really hard to beat that. And I don't think I personally have. When we create art for ourselves, we tap into our inner creativity without the pressure of external expectations, right? Or at least that's the idea. It's caving to the blurbos, it's caving to your OCs and to your own creative wants, needs, desires. And maybe it's not. Maybe for you, maybe painting for you is drawing those fan characters that you really like, right? Like, I don't think anybody has to tell you that you're not allowed to just draw what you like. And that's where it gets super crazy. Everything is so messed up. There's too much pressure and we all just need to give ourselves a break, you know? I guess I have to try and teach myself to not be afraid to be authentic and vulnerable, and that's really the scariest part. I think that's why Amethyst becomes that relatable as a character, because she is afraid of being vulnerable. She's supposed to be tough. She's supposed to be strong, right? She's supposed to be a quartz. She's supposed to be a soldier. And sometimes it doesn't end up working out that way. Sometimes she cries because she can't meet those expectations of other people, and she feels too vulnerable. So I'm going to make an effort in the future to let go of that need for validation and embrace the joy of creating art for myself. Have you succeeded at this? Tell me your story. What did you do to start to do that on your art journey, especially if you do art as a profession, because that adds a whole level of nonsense onto everything. Those of you that do watch it, I appreciate you very deeply. I hope that this video inspires you to create art that is true to you. And remember that your art matters. It is a beautiful reflection of who you are. And I'm glad that you're here. I really am. We have this art family. We got to stick out for each other, you know? So thank you for watching as always. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification for more art-related content. As always, keep creating, keep expressing, and I hope to see you in the next video.